we discovered a massive need for women to find an identity surrounding being a woman and an entrepreneur. I'm Marley.
And I'm Rachel. Women like us, women who are the primary earners in our families,
are searching for identity, community, visibility, permission.
A place to be heard and supported.
We are leading with our vulnerability to allow others to feel safe.
We are strong
and feminine. We are bread-winning women. Hello, bread-winning women. It's Wednesday. It's Breadwinning Women Wednesday. We're here, and today we're talking about something that it's so important and also so overlooked and on the back burner and often forgotten about. We're the last on our own list. It's self-care, biohacking, taking care of ourselves, because you need to show up as your best self. And something that I've really realized for myself recently was that if I put the best ingredients into myself, the result of that is my best self. So even think of it if you were making any other recipe. If you were making a cake, you don't miss out on the butter and sugar. Those are the best parts. That's what makes it delicious. That's what everyone enjoys, right? So what are the things that we need for ourselves to maintain self-care, self-love? Rachel and I both are investing in our businesses and in mentorships and programs. But one of the things that people forget to invest in is themselves, in their health and their well-being, right? And Rachel, tell everyone what you just started doing that I'm so excited you're doing.
Absolutely. So before I share with you guys what I'm doing that is amazing and it's been already life-changing, and I know that sounds silly, but literally for me, a better selfie is life-changing. No, I'm just kidding, but seriously. It makes all the difference. When you like and feel amazing, it is so crazy. But I'll be the first to tell you guys that I am very, very, very fast to put myself on the back burner. A lot of people might resonate with that, where it's like you've got a ton of things going on with your kids. You've got, a newborn baby. You've got a husband and a business. And for me, the first thing that I always ditch is myself. The first person that I stand up is always myself. And so it's a common question in our company where my assistant says, "Have you eaten yet today?" And she wants to make sure that I've eaten, or that I've had water, or that I'm taken care of. I totally just forget, my nails are chipped because I don't have time to do them. And then I forget, and it's not a priority. I am one of the people who definitely does not prioritize taking care of myself, but that has been changing little bit by little bit. And so one of the things I just started, and I think some of the people who are watching this or listening to this live with us have gone through this with me or are starting this journey with me. And it is the water challenge, the natural thirst water challenge. And it sounds so silly because it's like, duh, like we all need water. But I started this challenge yesterday. And when I took my before picture in the morning, my mentor, Alex Sharfin, asked me to take a before picture. And I took the picture and I was really honestly embarrassed with how just tired and run down and ruddy my face looked. It just looked like I'd lived 15 lifetimes. And I was like, is this really me? Is this really how I look when I wake up in the morning? This is sad. So I started the water challenge yesterday. I drank 210 ounces of water. Today, I think I'm at 90 plus ounces so far, and I'm just still getting started. And today, I have no makeup and no lotion on, and my skin looks like plump and shiny and healthy, and it's glowing. And so I took my after picture even just on the second day, and I was like, wow, this is night and day difference. And it's something that I never would have made the time to do.
Yeah, just water. It's so simple. And of course we know, I think the stat is our bodies are made up 70% of water. And even putting your body in that state where you're drinking enough water puts you in a state of abundance. Now also imagine what that does for you physiologically. Is that the right word? Physiology. Yep. Where your body has what it needs so that your mind also has what it needs. So it's not just about giving your body so that you have the physical effects. You're also getting that mental well-being, the mindset shift that you're giving your body exactly what it needs and caring and loving yourself. And another thing that was a game changer for myself and my husband was spending more time outside. And one of the things in our morning routine starts with a walk outside. Now we've been traveling, so I can't say that we've done it every single day, but when we do, that is part of the ingredients that makes me show up as my best self. Rachel, you got to try it.
I am. We're actually going to be incorporating that like over the next, I think, week. We're getting to that point. So we're starting with water because water is such a basic need. It's something that we don't realize is so important for our brain to function right, for our skin to look amazing, for us to wake up with excitement, for our everything in your body to work the way that you want it to. And so for me, as silly as it sounds, starting to drink enough water is a huge step in the right direction. And what's crazy is I'm starting to realize and identify some of the flags that I have in my head, like, oh, wait, you can't do that. You can't take time to do that because other people need you. And I mean, I can't be the only person who's dealing with this, where suddenly the moment that it's time for you to take care of yourself, all you can think about is all of the other things that everyone else needs from you.
Mm-hmm. But everyone else needs you to be your best self. How do you show up and give your best to the world, to your family, to your clients, to your audience, if you're exhausted and burnt out? And if you're burnt out, what is that costing you? Because people think like, oh, it's I don't have enough time to do this. How do you not have enough time? I know that and this has happened to me where I got sick. So I had a flu that lasted for a month. And every day, like I was wishing that I was pregnant so that at least it would be for something. Because I was just like, what is this flu? It knocked me out and I could hardly work for 5 weeks. And think of the opportunity cost that I couldn't be my best self because I was sick. But whose fault is it that I got sick? Obviously, when your body gets sick, it's because it's trying to tell you something. When you get run down, it's forcing you to stop, to slow down, to get the rest that you need. So when I was sick for a long time, where do you think my productivity and efficiency was? Down the drain. So when you're hustling and you think that you don't have time to take care of yourself because you got things to do, you don't have time not to, because what's the consequence of that?
So true. And, since I'm in this phase right now of starting to identify when my body, and not just my body, but my mind say, slow down, Rachel, I need a second. And after all of that travel, Marley, we were go, go, go for weeks. That was crazy. I mean, I don't think people realize how intense those couple of weeks were. Like it was nonstop. Are you still in the middle of it, right?
I'm still traveling. I'm not home for a month.
It's a little crazy. So one of the things that people don't realize is when those types of scenarios happen, when you're in a busy season during work, it can be so easy to let that slip. And so when I got back and, I was decompressing from everything from travel, even yesterday, I found myself exhausted and I was like, I am so tired. And I just put my head down at work. This never happens, by the way. I'm not a napper. Some people love naps. I am not a napper. And we literally, at my office, I put my head down and my husband wakes me up and he's like, you fell asleep on the desk. And I was oh, okay, I think it's time to go home and get like a real nap because my body's telling me I'm exhausted. So I went home. I intended to sleep for 20 minutes and I ended up sleeping for 2 hours.
You needed it.
Exactly. My body needed it. So one of the questions I have for you, Marley, and for myself as well, is what ways can we show ourselves self-love and self-care besides just the fundamentals of water, sleep, and food? What other ways do you show yourself self-love?
Yeah. And for me, it's like, I like structure. Some people don't. You got to do what works for you. So I can totally tell you my routine and what works for me. And it might not work for anybody. Take it with a grain of salt. Take what you can, what you want. I love having time in the morning to myself. So from like 6 to 9 a.m., I want that time for me because when I get up, you know that feeling when you wake up or like you miss the alarm clock and you're rushing towards everything. You're like, oh, I'm already late. This is crazy. You're in reaction mode. If I wake up and I go straight into work and straight into my notifications, that's what the rest of my day feels like because I'm in reaction mode. So what I like to do is wake up early enough that I have from 6 to 9 a.m. for myself, that I get up slowly. I go upstairs. I make myself a green smoothie. We go for a walk. Me and my husband go for a walk. We leave our phones at home because then that's just like walking time, unplugged. We get to have good conversations and we enjoy just looking at the scenery, like looking at people's houses and their decor, and that's fun to us. And then when we get home, we either, if it's an exercise day, we'll go to the gym, lift weights. That's what I like to do, strength training. And then from there, come home, shower. It's still easy going. It's slow, relaxed, intentional time. Then I'll either read a book, or I have an app on my phone that I love called Blinkist, that it's books that are really condensed. You can read the whole kind of summary of a book in like 5-10 minutes. Love that. And then I ease into my day by starting to plan out my day. So I'll look at my calendar, plan out like the top 3 priorities I need to get done that day. And that's how I start my day. I've eased into it. I've given myself self-care. I've connected with my husband. I've nourished my body. I've moved my body. And now I'm ready to go.
I love that. And I am someone who does not naturally crave structure. So on the other end of the spectrum, I know it's something that is going to be beneficial to me as my business grows. It is not something that is natural to me. So for me, self-love looks like very free flowing. For me, self-love, as silly as this is, I really, really, really like spending the mornings like laughing with my kids. When I get a morning where I get to just go in their room and have zero agenda, no rush, just I get to enjoy time with them and maybe get them dressed. It's just this really special time. And even though it's not technically self-care, for me, the ability to just laugh and feel free, that is self-love for me. Like that feels amazing. And the same exact thing goes for my evenings. I really enjoy having family dinners where I tuck my phone away. This is actually one of my favorite tips for self-care so that you don't find yourself accidentally working during dinner. I put my phone somewhere where I can't see it during dinner. So if we go out to eat, I like to tuck it in the glove box. Game changer. Suddenly, every time I find myself itching to reach into my purse, I realize, oh, I was reaching for my phone again and it's not there. Oh, okay. Yep. Back to family, back to fun, back to conversation and laughing. Some other things that I love for self-care. I'm a big fan of massages. I think massages are amazing, especially for anyone who's had kids. You know that carrying your kids around can leave some serious pain in your back and your shoulders and your neck. And we don't even realize how much tension we carry around. I personally think, especially as parents, just because there's always these extra bags and extra human beings that need to be carried and wrestled, and it's crazy. So for me, massages have kept me from having back pain in this season of life, which has been a game changer. I've never experienced not having back pain, and that's something I wouldn't give up ever.
And those are some pretty simple things that I think everyone has access to. I mean, journaling, writing down things you're grateful for. I love doing that. Reading a book in the morning, walking outside, drinking water. These aren't things that you need to invest money into. So it's totally accessible to us. If you want to invest in getting massages, if that makes you feel good, I know it makes me feel good. That's amazing. And there's so many other like biohacking tips and strategies and things that are coming out. You see lots of people doing. I've tried my hand at a few of them. Like I've tried the sensory deprivation tanks, like those float pods. Those are pretty cool. You don't like them?
No,
No?
you know my secret about water? I kind of hate it.
Oh, yeah. Rachel doesn't like
that.
Yeah. So that would work for you. There's the like blue light glasses.
Yep.
You both have a pair of those. Wayne wears them a lot more than I do, but I should wear them more. I know that the benefits of those, especially like it's more than just protecting your eyes. It also helps you to get a better sleep at night because you haven't been inundated by all this blue light. Like you'll really notice the difference when you start wearing those. What are some other ones?
Ooh, I'm a big fan of writing kind messages to yourself. So I personally like to create, I know this is kind of silly, but I really like to create custom graphics that I make as like the backdrop for my computer. Not the backdrop, the screensaver, the background. That's what the word is I'm looking for. I like to create those because it reminds me, you know what, like you're worthy. Like this message belongs to you. That's something that's special to me. I'm a big journaler. I love reading, and there's something really interesting that I discovered with being an entrepreneur and reading, because a lot of times we're told to read books that have to do with business, and that's great and that's wonderful. I think that there's a lot to be learned from those books. But when was the last time that you sat down and read a fiction book just for fun?
Been a while.
Oh, it's hard to get yourself to do it. But when I sit down and I read a book that's fiction, I love that it's completely decompressing. It's just taking care of me. It's feeding my soul, not just my business. And
Mhm.
so for me, I'm a huge fan of Leanne Moriarty. She's my favorite author. She wrote Big Little Lies and a ton of other phenomenal books. But reading fiction is amazing for me.
Yeah. A lot of people will spend money on things like an expensive pair of jeans or getting their nails and eyelashes done, which honestly, Rachel and I both do that. I'll never be without these eyelashes. That makes me feel good. And when I feel good, I can show up as my best self. And that's a commitment that I make to not just myself, but to the people I'm serving. Who am I doing a disservice to when I'm not showing up powerfully and present? That's what you need to remember whenever you have that moment of, I don't have time to go for a massage. I don't have time to drink this water. I don't have time to wake up early. You got to think of, where do you want to be? Like, and what are the ingredients to get you there? Can you think of any successful person that's running on fumes? Like, do you think that Tony Robbins, even though he is such a busy person, Oprah, any of these people, do you think that they're running on fumes, that they're exhausted? Sure, they work hard, but they also take care of themselves. So remember that when you're questioning, do I have time to do this? What are the ingredients that will get me to that state? And success leaves clues. Look at the people that you look up to, and what do you think that they do? What are the ingredients that they have to give themselves to show up the way that they do, which inspires you? So if you're the kind of person that you're running on fumes, you're hustling and grinding, and you think that you don't have any extra time, think of the people who have gone before you, that are successful, that are in the places that you want to be, and what are their routines that work for them that maybe you can adopt in your own schedule.
I love that because I was actually just going to say that too. You guys have some fun little homework, and this is going to be really helpful for you. Look up the morning routines of the people that you admire. And a simple way to do this is to look up their name and then morning routine. And if you're not familiar with specific people that you admire, look up morning routines of successful people. And they're usually awesome listicles. Personally, I don't like just looking up one thing. I like seeing when there's a list so I can dive into a whole bunch of different people's routines and see, okay, what are the common denominators in these successful, fulfilled people's lives? Because I want to do a lot more of that.
Yeah. And there's tons of YouTube videos out there. Wayne and I are actually creating a whole series on what influencers are doing that create the success for them. It'll show their morning routines, their strategies, their beliefs, because who do you need to be? What do you need to do to have what you want to have? So we're going to be showing you a whole journey where we follow what other influencers are doing and share those strategies with you. So stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed this, if you're listening to the podcast, please leave us a review, subscribe, keep listening every week. If you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, please also subscribe, leave us some comments and likes, and we'll see you again next Wednesday, same place, Breadwinning Women TV.
We'll see you guys later. Bye.